Hello, today we'll be talking about the well-renowned book Fight Club. So of course I'm assuming you've been introduced to Fight Club through the movie, and you've probably seen clips through TikTok and all that, but I want to focus on the book version for my teacher's sanity. But I think this book is worth a read, and the reason that is because it shares a message that humans don't seem to learn no matter how much time progresses, and this was a huge problem, especially during the time the book was written, which was the 90s. Right? So the book starts off with a climax. It shows two characters on a building rigged to explode, one being named Tyler and the one being named Jack. The thing that's unique about all this is happening is that Tyler and Jack aren't real. It all happens in the narrator's head. To simplify it, Tyler and Jack are the narrator's psyche, and it's through a Sigmund Freud teaching way too. And to simplify this and to simplify that and to make that make sense to you, Tyler is the id of the narrator, while Jack is the superego of the narrator. With this being said, this brings up the question, if this is supposed to relate to a Sigmund Freud psychology teaching, where is the ego to help mediate between the narrator's two psyches? But before we get into the nitty gritty, what is the superego and id? If you take an English class or a psychology class, you'll know this man who coined the term, being Sigmund Freud. He was best known for some of his more controversial takes in psychology, but for right now, we're only going to be focusing on the superego and id, which is described as the two opposites of the same coin. The superego, which is the side that follows the laws as society lays out, while the id is the complete opposite. This side is the cardinal instincts of nature, and then the third term being introduced, which is the guest of honor, and the main topic of this entire literary analysis being the ego, which is supposed to help mediate between the two, so we can still be decent humans while also not being depressed due to these repressed emotions that we hide away. But the interesting part of the narrator's character is that they don't have balance. The superego is supposed to be the person we root for, but Jack really doesn't have much to root for in the first place. He even says he's a slave to a system and he's consumed by consumerism. He wants to break free from this. There's a saying which fits Jack's character the most, being all work and no play makes Johnny a dull boy, which really fits Jack's character. He's responsible, but he's super repressed, which leads to him creating Tyler's another alter ego of sort to help break free from the system he doesn't want to take part in anymore. Now, the opposite side of the coin, Tyler's the complete opposite to the narrator's superego, or to Jack. Tyler is free, he does what he wants when he wants, he's living the life he wants to. But he's also uncaring and sociopathic, which is shown how he treats Marla and the people that he tries to get to join his club. He sees them as nothing more than pawns to his bigger game, which shows the narrator's want for freedom and a way to break out. But again, he lacks some sort of balance, so he ends up taking it too far and becomes a domestic terrorist. So what can this imbalance show us, the reader? This imbalance shows us why it's important to try to remain some sort of homeostasis of doing what you want to do while also adhering to societal rules. I wonder whose job is to do that exactly. Finally, the guest of honor, the ego of the human psyche. This psyche mediates between the responsibilities of our superego and the wants of our id. This pretty much allowed for humanity to keep some sort of a balance between being able to work together and then trying to keep us happy and satisfied at the end of the day. But this raises a question: where is the narrator's ego to help mediate? The short answer is, and spoiler alert, he doesn't have one just yet. That comes in the form of a person or a character in the story named Marla Singer. As crazy as it might sound, she acts as the ego to Tyler and Jack, because while Tyler wants and needs are very instinctual, that also includes sexual desires, and this is shown throughout the book where she sleeps and has a relationship with Tyler. Their relationship, or at least according to Tyler, their relationship is purely just for that instinct and that want of another human in that way, while Jack is more wants Marla for more of like the emotional side of what you get, the very calm, reasonable side of a relationship, which is what the superego tries to entail. And this is shown through multiple ways. Of course, Tyler's sexual escapades with Marla, and then Marla trying to reason with Jack at the end of the book towards the ending so he doesn't blow his brains out, which at the end of the day does help try to balance him out. She plays a temporary ego that the character needs so he can balance himself out. The ending of the book is very bittersweet, where it's very ambiguous, but you can assume from the way he describes the institute he's at a mental institution where he is being taken care of and being treated properly, so he can one day be able to see Marla and live a life out with her, or with, just in general, just live a better life than he was living beforehand, which means that he's starting to find balance. He's starting to find his own ego to help mediate between both sides of his wants and his responsibilities. We learned a lot by looking at the narrator's journey throughout the book. We learned his imbalance and how it affected him throughout the story, and the people he lost along the way, only really gaining some sort of balance when Marla acted as a temporary ego to help mediate between the two psyches who struggled to hold control of the narrator's body. Fight Club has a lot of hidden messages and meaning you can find with it, like the fact of consumerism and how it consumes people and it makes them into monsters. But one of the ideas that is portrayed throughout the book consistently, and the movie too, is the practice of moderation, and the fact that you should still have some discipline while also being able to let loose in a while and enjoy the moment. Because without balance, you may find yourself in a similar conflict with oneself, struggling to find a purpose in life and struggling to find the will to live at all.